Happy new day, beloveds. This is AuntyMagogo, your spiritual life coach, back with another one for our full moon. The full moon for December 5th, right here for the southern hemisphere, and December 4th for the northern hemisphere. AuntyMagogo, slicker than your average auntie, doper than your sickest Magogo, ruled by the kings in my veins, celebrated by the queens in my bones. Ke napia dua para sola magosha sa sapare abana gosha usha ke dipatše fela ke nna setlogolo sa babina tlo ke nna gadi ya masogana ba ga maserela ena piadi in the house. Let's do this. Okay, so this is just an extra video after the full moon reading video that I did, and I'd like to apologize. That video yakata towards the end. I don't know why, but it cut out the tarot cards. But I think wherever it ended was sufficient. I just need to add these parts just to add further enlightenment. So if you haven't seen the video, it's on YouTube under AuntyMagogo for full moon reading for December. And in the comments there are the ritual videos, links to ritual videos that I already have on YouTube too. But just to get further guidance on what this full moon means for all of us, for you, where you can get some guidelines just to help you understand what you could be feeling, the emotions that you are carrying, the things that you are carrying, and this will help you just understand yourself a bit better. It's not to get you to get a different perspective or move away from whatever type of religion or belief that you are currently following, but it's just to help you understand yourself better through nature and what is already there. So these are things that are obvious. We are talking about the moon that you are seeing, that it's a full moon. So these are things that are happening. It's no man-made stuff. There's no illicit intervention here that is not needed. Okay. All right. So the full moon is in Gemini. And for us here, South Africans, we will be in full moon in Gemini around 14 minutes past 1 tomorrow morning. Right, so in the AMs, that's when we are going to be in the full moon. So in most cases, if you are doing a full moon ritual, just to touch on, so a full moon is the full moon energy is to be used because now it's the ending of a chapter. It's an ending of a cycle of phases, because it's taken about 28 days for the moon to be full. Every day it's been moving and changing phases. So it's been collecting lessons, it's been collecting things, but it's now reaching an end where it's full. So with us, we've been going through what the moon is going through. So if the moon is going through whatever it's going through, the sun is going through what it's going through as well. We are also experiencing. So whatever these things are going through, we are bound to experience it. Okay. Right now, I'm just wanting to use this video to explain the importance of this full moon. Firstly, it's important because it's the last full moon we have for the year 2025, the year of the 9, right? The ending of cycles. We are beginning 2026 because 2026, so 2025 is the year of the 9, the year of the snakes. 2026 is the year of the 1 and the year of the horse. I'll get into that another day. But right now, what is happening above us is energy that you can use to help you get into a better state. If you're tired of feeling a certain way at the end of or the beginning of every year, right now things are tough. We are in a recession that we aren't really talking about yet because we're still waiting for the higher powers to officiate and tell us that we are in recession. But times are tough right now. So it is important for us to still carry on in the system-based life that we are living. Right, not everyone can just say cut it and go off grid. Even the people who are claiming to be off grid, they do rely on the system to be able to maintain and sustain their off grid lifestyle. So everything is about perspective and it's about choice. But I'm sharing this to help you be able to navigate and deal with life things better, because that's how life is. There are hard times. That's just how it goes. All right. So right now, the full moon will be in Gemini. The sun will be in Sagittarius, meaning Sagittarius season is starting. So these two are opposite. It's the moon and the sun. And then there's this thing that happens. there's a point where the moon and the sun cross each other. So it's like people, when they walk past each other, there is a path that that of intersection that happens, even though we don't see it. But sometimes you can even just feel the energy after passing someone. There's an energy shift. So that energy shift, those lines that happen, they create this yeah, so they create this astrological point. So they create like this path. Yeah, they create the path, and so it's basically the path of the moon. Wherever the moon passes, the path that it leaves behind. But this has to do with the polarity between the moon and the sun, because the sun and the moon together, they represent our being, right? Because the sun is in the physical, the moon is the conscious, right? The subconscious, the things that are hidden. That's why the moon is feminine and the sun is masculine, right? So now the polarity that happens between these two energy. So it's the crossing and the merging of the lunar and solar energy. The moon is magnetic. That's why when it's full moon, then the oceans are high tide, because it's magnetic. It pulls. Women, we attract. And then the sun, it's masculine, it's energetic. So it shoots out. It goes out, right? It's the hunter. The sun will enter. If it's very hot, you will feel it even if you are in the house. So that's the electric. The moon is magnetic. That's why some people are drawn to the moon and they don't understand why. Full moon, most of us just are drawn to it and we still don't understand why. A lot of people know it's there, but they still don't understand it, but it pulls us. So now, with these two bodies crossing each other, that path that happens, that path that happens, it represents, now with these energies that represent our being, that path that happens, that energy shift, it represents our past and future selves. That is the north node and the south node, right? So the north node, the other part. So the north node, again, polarity. I'm speaking a lot about polarity in this video because Gemini is 2 in 1. Polarity and duality. So this is to help us understand the importance of knowing polarity and how to use it. In the full moon reading video, I'm talking about embracing our dark sides, right? Doing the shadow work and accepting the dark sides about ourselves, the dark parts about ourselves, and accepting them, laughing at ourselves enough to know how to use them, understand ourselves better than other people do, right? So with these parts, all these parts, these energy shifts that are happening, they are happening above us right now with the full moon, and with the moon being in Gemini, the sun being in Sagittarius. Now, these polarities, or these points that happen, or should I say the remnants of the journey of the moon and the sun, that remnants, the effect of the moon passing and the sun doing its thing, the effect of that, obviously they will affect us. So now the north node is right now sitting in Pisces, and then the south node is sitting in Virgo. They move together in their polarity as well, right? And they sit in one sign for a year and a half. They sit in the same signs for a year and a half, so they are opposite each other. So the north node is in Pisces, the south node is in Virgo. They sit that way for a year and a half, meaning they'll move from there next year. Is it June or July? Sometime next year. This is when they will then move in July. Yes, they will move then to the next signs, right? So for the next year and a half, Pisces north node, which represents our future self, is sitting in Pisces, which represents spirituality. North node is sitting in Virgo, which represents our health. For the next year and a half, right, or what's been happening the past couple of months, right, since January this year, what's been happening to a lot of us this year, we've been having to deal with a lot of our spirituality. A lot of that has been coming into question. Our systems of belief, our ways of doing things have been coming into question. So if you haven't started doing the changes for your health, for example, or doing the changes and changing your perspective in your spirituality, for example, it's a time for you to do the things that you need to do, or consider the things that you've been lacking to do in order to help improve that part of your life. So from now until July next year, these are the things that you need to know. And I'm sure with me mentioning you now, oh yes, I have been really dealing with that. It's a fact. So this is how these things work. So we've been going through a lot of that, looking into our spirituality, looking at our health. But right now, with the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Gemini, we are at a point where in this full moon, our conscious self and our subconscious self, our being, because it's all representing who we are. It's the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental of what makes us who we are. So it's the four elements coming together, with Pisces being water, Virgo being earth, Sagittarius being fire, and Gemini being air. It's the four elements coming together, and we are all made of these four elements. So right now we are sitting under the effects of these four powerful elements, and these four powerful elements are the past and the future of our journeys, right? And they are also the past and the future of our beings, of where we are going. So it's representations of where we come from and also where we are going, but it's all just to remind us that the present matters. So it's important to not focus too much on the future, because the future, yes, it is affected by the past, but it's mostly affected by the present. So if we are just realizing that, okay, now presently, damn, I really need to focus on the things that I need to fix, and we need that. So before I was meaning to actually even start this video with just mentioning this part of the importance of, let me first explain the meaning of the word polarity. Okay, so the word polarity means the state of having two opposite or contradictory tendencies, opinions, or aspects. Another definition is the relative of poles, the direction of magnetic or electric fields. So that's the polarity I was talking about when I was talking about the moon and the sun, right? So that still applies. So that's what polarity means. So we need to be able to reach a point where our conscious and our subconscious selves are able to meet each other, where we stop just focusing on the physical attributes, the things that we are pulling towards ourselves. The things that, so it's about what are the physical things that you are doing to help your spiritual self and to improve your health. What are the physically and emotionally, what are you doing to help yourself to improve your health and to improve your spiritual relationship with yourself for the next year and a half? What are those things that you are doing? So use this full moon to sit down and consider those things. So these are the things that you need to think about. Let me just highlight the importance of or how the North Node, South Node, Moon, and the Sun affect you right now, and how you can look at your life with this happening, right? Okay, so the first thing is with Pisces. What is North Node sitting in Pisces? Our spirituality, the water element. What is that telling us? It is telling us that it is a time for us to think about the things that hinder our spirituality, so that we can prepare for our future selves, the unknown. We don't know what the future holds, but in the present, it is important to look at the things that hinder our spirituality, our higher selves, our higher consciousness. And then 2, which is the south node in Virgo, and the element being earth. What does that mean? What do we need to look at? We need to look at the habits that hinder your health. That is what you need to look at right now for the next couple of months until July, so that you are able to enjoy the gifts of your past. Remember, the south node deals with our past selves. How I've also explained it, north node is dharma, south node is karma, right? So the polarity of not just looking at your south node just being a representation of your karma is looking at the south node as the gifts of your past self. And gifts of past self, the easiest way to explain that is to say the lessons, the wisdoms, because wisdom comes with experience. So the things that we have experienced, right? Us taking accountability of the things we have chosen to experience as lessons into wisdom. That is our south node, right? So yes, we need to look at the things, the habits that hinder our health, just so that we are able to enjoy the gifts of our past selves. I mean, it's if we're looking at health, it's about also getting active, right? Exercising, doing some type of activity. It's not always comfortable, especially when you are starting. It's not always comfortable, and even once you've started, and but the growing pains of having to have the discipline to actually make the time to do that, to make the time to do what you say you have to. It's not only something that you want to do, but you have to do, right? So to be able to enjoy the gifts of my past self, I need the discipline in my health. I need to look after myself better. And health isn't just what we are eating, right? Health is also our mind, more especially our mind. The things that we consume emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that. That is health. That is what I mean and what we mean by health. And then number 3, let go of doubtful communication. Number 3 is the Gemini side of things, the moon being in Gemini. So if the moon is in Gemini, it's also our emotional sides, the things that the sides of ourselves that we hide. So communication. So it's the internal communication that we have with ourselves. That let go of the doubtful communication with ourselves. I also touch on that in the full moon reading video, and how we best communicate better with ourselves instead of seeking external validation and just sharing everything. First communicate it to yourself and give yourself that validation, because in most cases the reason why we communicate externally is to get a response. So if you're telling people your business is because you want a response, and that response is a form of validation. So if you need a response, rather just speak to yourself and wait for the response. The response might come in certain signals, not signs, signals that come from your realities, like your universe showing you signals, certain things that show you that no, this way yes, this way no. And then number 4, which represents the sun being in Sagittarius and Sagittarius being the fire element, put thought into your expansions, because Sagittarius represents expansion. Sagittarius represents expansion. Gemini represents communication. Virgo represents health. And Pisces represents spirituality. So if you look at all of these, including the signs that these energies are all sitting in right now, it's a whole mechanism of what makes us who we are as human beings. It's the physical parts, the emotional parts as well, the other parts. So it's the spiritual and the physical. So it's all the things that make a person who they are: communication, health, spirituality, and expansion. So number 4 is looking at how not having too much energy, looking at control it, because if we have fire and all the other elements, that means you need to be able to have moderation in all the elements. Every element that is there needs to be moderation in how we use them, how we put ourselves out there spiritually, how we put ourselves out there with consideration to our health and the things we need to change, how we communicate with ourselves, and how we expand, externally. It's all moderation so that it can all work. Let's see what else I need to add here. Otherwise, yeah, that is the importance of this current full moon. Please, if you know, please be honest with yourselves. If you know you haven't paid enough attention to yourself, because that is the trait of Gemini. The trait of Gemini is self-neglect, being very quick to be out there and be outgoing. It causes one to run away from themselves, and it's not just Gemini. We all have Gemini in our charts. Everyone, each of us have Gemini. So it's a normal human trait in us abandoning ourselves to give to others, where we neglect these parts of ourselves, our spirituality, our health, our communication, and our expansion, how we dream, how we reach out to the world, how we think of ourselves, how we want to expand ourselves, how we see ourselves growing. It's a problem. In most cases, we are scared to see ourselves bigger than what we are right now, and in most cases it is caused by us just wanting to be something for others except ourselves. So right now, one of the big lessons is it is not a time to be all over the place right now. So just come back to self. Just pull yourself back to self. Let's pull ourselves back to selves for the next couple of months, please, until July next year. Please, it is important. It is important to use these energies on focusing on our spirituality and our health. If you focus on those things for yourself, everything around you will fall into place. Spirituality wise, use what works for you, not what other people are telling you. Use what works for you. Life is numbers. If it's not adding, it is minusing. So use what's adding. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, next time. Right? Focus on your best attributes about yourself. Yeah. What makes you you? Now, all the things that people say about you that they like, start listening to that. Start listening to what people say about what they like about you, or everything that people say they like about you. They're saying it for selfish reasons because of how it benefits them, right? Everything. Just start paying attention to it. Start listening, or start paying attention to what you've heard before and apply those things that they say they like about you to yourself. It is a time to be selfish in that regard. The polarity, but having the balance with all of these things. All right. AuntyMagogo out. Look after yourselves, and happy full moon. Announcements, yes, I'm not available on WhatsApp. I don't know what's going on with my WhatsApp. It's that whole Huawei, WhatsApp, America, China situation, whatever is happening. But if you need me, email me. My details are here my details are here on YouTube. In the description box. I think even in the channel description, my details are there. Or otherwise, just straight call. Otherwise, Facebook inbox. Otherwise, Instagram inbox. I don't open my Instagram that much. I just post. Otherwise, TikTok inbox. Yeah, but if you need me, there are ways to reach me. All right.